This is a sheep's brain, and today we're going to dissect it to reveal the beautiful structures that are hidden inside and hopefully learn some interesting facts about it. Hi, my name is Sanya and I am a psychology and neuroscience student, and this dissection is part of my university program. I love learning about how the brain works. I created this channel mainly to share some interesting facts, discoveries, theories about it. As already mentioned, this dissection is of a sheep's brain, which is why it looks so small. However, its structure is very similar to a human's brain with a few differences, so we'll be able to gain some very interesting insight into how our own brain is built. Without further ado, let's get into a dissection. Before we start cutting, we're taking a moment to study the outside and see which structures are visible. This particular brain was already a bit damaged when we received it. The cerebellum was cut in the middle here, and the medulla also had a long cut down the middle of it. So usually this wouldn't be the case. After we've had a good look and admired the brain for a while, we start cutting. This is done very carefully. As you can see, I'm cutting very thin slices so that I don't take away too much or damage any of the subcortical structures. We can already see the beautiful distinction between gray matter and white matter. Notice how much white matter there is. The gray matter contains mostly cell bodies, and the white matter is made up of axons, and it gets its white color from the myelin that is around the neurons. What I'm trying to do here is find the hippocampus, the area of the brain that facilitates memory formation and recall. We've reached one of the lateral ventricles, which means that the hippocampus is close. Putting the knife inside the ventricle and cutting away from it will eventually reveal the hippocampus. And voila, there we have it. This is the left hippocampus. There is another one on the other side that we'll see later. Our professor showed us how to identify the amygdala, which was really helpful. It's a bit tricky to find because it blends in with the temporal lobe and it's made of gray matter, so it's not as clearly defined as some other brain structures. This would be the hippocampus, and this is approximately where the amygdala is. Moving on, we can see the choroid plexus coming out of the ventricle. This is the structure that creates the cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, that circulates the brain and spinal cord. It's pretty fascinating to see. It seems small, but in humans it produces 500 milliliters of fluid per day. As we speak, your choroid plexus is working hard to produce CSF, so that's pretty cool. Here we also had to preserve the striatum, but I accidentally cut too much, but my colleague did a great job on the other side, so it's well preserved there. You can see the striped appearance right here. This is the striatum. It's part of the basal ganglia, and it's particularly important in motor control, habit formation, and emotion. Another interesting structure that can be seen here are the meninges, the outer coverings of the brain, and this is the outermost layer, the dura. Notice how tough it is when I try to pull on it. The meninges help protect the brain and spinal cord. CSF flows in the middle layer of the meninges, which helps cushion the brain and protect it from damage. On the other side of the brain, my colleague is doing the exact same thing, trying to reveal the hippocampus by carefully cutting small pieces away. And there we have it, the dissection is complete. Let's take a look at what structures we can identify here. This is a dorsal view, which means we're looking at the brain from the back. Pause the video here if you'd like to see if you can identify some structures yourself. So we have the hippocampus on the top, then the pineal gland in here, thalamus, the tectum with the superior and inferior colliculi, the central canal where the CSF flows from the ventricles down to the spinal cord, and of course the cerebellum. Studying brains like these helps us understand how our own brain works, which is pretty amazing. If you're as fascinated by the brain as I am, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you soon.